Hey everyone, Ben here, back in the GT4 challenge in iRacing, and as you can see from the clips on screen, it hasn't got any less dangerous in the months since we were last out on track in this series. But today we're at Suzuka for a 15-minute sprint race. I've qualified in P8, so I've got a pretty good starting position for this race, and alongside some of the carnage, there's actually some fantastic racing to be had in this series as we're already underway. Once again, I'm a little bit sluggish off the start. Will I pay a price for that into T1? Because I've got a couple of drivers on my inside here who are looking to take away that P8 from me. One driver up ahead is out already. That looks like it's Sargenti, who lost it all by himself through T2. So it looks as if we're in P8 still. I've lost one spot off the start, but I've managed to hold position because of that spinner through the opening corners. We've got a blinker up ahead as well. Hopefully that won't come into play later in the race, but in the meantime I've overestimated the grip on these tyres through the end of the S's here, and I'm going to run wide just as the driver up ahead does as well, and that is going to be a very costly mistake as I'm now coming under pressure from P9 Doutenberg behind. We're side by side heading into the Degners. You really don't want to go too wide through these corners. Thankfully Doutenberg thinks twice about trying to stick it all the way around the outside, but I'm compromised all the way through that section of track, and he now is piling on the pressure from behind into the hairpin. I'm going to have to go defensive. Can I hold the move on the inside line? Yes, I can, but I've got a very poor run out of the corner compared to Doutenberg behind, and he's just got enough space on my outside. It looks as if he's going to power past here as we climb the hill towards Spoon, and yes, he's all the way clear. I'm going to stick to the inside, just try and put him off heading into the corner, and yes, he's carried a little bit too much speed in there, but I'm not going to be able to recover the position. I'm going to have to settle back into P9. Wow, what a bit of racing on this opening lap. And really that all stemmed from me just overestimating the grip and the temperature in the tyres on lap 1, and as soon as you're offline, you end up carrying that speed penalty for a few corners in sections of track like Sector 1 at Suzuka. So, head down. Can I get that position back? You can see up ahead as we hit the chicane for the first time. It looks as if Doutenberg's gone in deep, and he has. That will cost him on the exit of the corner. Surely I can tuck into his slipstream here then as we head towards the start-finish line for the first time to end the first lap of this race. I'm 0.4 seconds back from the driver up ahead, and I've got a gap of around a second and a half to Garcia behind. Spot our braking then. We're still not fully up to temperature just yet, and again Doutenberger in deep. Is this going to be a chance for me to get that position back? Well, no, he's going to race back onto the circuit. Look at the speed he was carrying there from having gone wide into T2, and he's able to get back ahead, and now he's struggling to get grip in those tyres himself as we get through the S's. I'm checked up just a little bit here as I'm trying to take a much tighter line this time around. He's opened up the next corner for himself quite nicely, but he's dabbing the brakes through the uphill section there. We're both slow through that part of the track as a result, and I'm not going to be close enough to try and execute any sort of pass through the next couple of corners. We've got the debris flag out, so someone's been off in this section of track on the previous lap, and again Doutenberg is wide on the exit of Degner 2. Is this going to give me a chance heading up into the hairpin? Well, let's see if we can be later on the brakes, take the inside line, but no, I'm just not close enough. Doutenberg again slightly deep through the corner, but he's going to hold the position for now at least. There's not even a tenth of a second separating us then as we're climbing the hill once more towards Spoon. Super difficult to execute an overtake at Suzuka in these well-matched GT4 cars, so really it's all about trying to hustle your opponent into a mistake, and then if the opportunity presents, squeezing on past. Unfortunately for me, it looks as if Doutenberg had a better run through Spoon there. Look just a little bit further up the road, cars very close together as we all barrel down towards the high-speed left-hander at 130R. A moment of maximum danger on this lap here. We all get through safely this time, but a dab of the brakes from Doutenberg, who was heading wide. He's stuck out on the curb there on the right-hand side, so he is still not comfortable behind the wheel of his Porsche as we're getting through the final couple of corners of this second lap and get ready to go racing once more on the third lap of this race. Drivers side by side up ahead. It looks as if the leading two drivers in this race have checked out completely, but now it's a very tight battle for all of the remaining spots in the top 10. Look up ahead though and you're going to see Dominic Langweb coming out of the pits right into the pack of leading drivers, and Lucas Trepper has been caught up in that. He's going to be out of contention in the top 10. Wow, what a moment of drama here, and you'll see it on replay. Langweb, who's been involved in an incident earlier in the race, he's coming out to rejoin right in the middle of the leading pack of drivers, and they come together, and that is a major incident at the front end of this race. It's going to put me back up into P8 as we rejoin the live action on lap 3. Up ahead, Doutenberg is going to be challenging for P6 here as we climb up the hill towards the hairpin. He's going to try and get the inside line here. Oh, look at that. The BMW blinking ahead of us. And yes, he's managed to get that position done. So now my challenge is, can I get past Sasha Gallet in similar fashion here? Or is Gallet actually going to challenge back? Because it looks as if they're in the slipstream as we head towards Spoon, but Gallet is heavy on the brakes there. He manages to keep a relatively tight line through the corner, but wow, having to dab the brakes all the way through the second part there, and it looks as if I'm going to get a better run out of Spoon than Gallet up ahead. But this is not really the point of the track. You want to be closing in on another driver towards 130R here. It's going to take something bordering on the reckless to try and mount an overtake through here, and look at that, he dabs the brakes through the corner there. That's just enough to make me have to get on the brakes, and that has opened up the gap before we get to the chicane. On to lap 4 then, and Gallet is once again challenging Doutenberg up ahead to try and get that position back, but he's side by side on the exit of the hairpin here. I am on high alert to try and pick up any of the pieces should these two drivers come together. Gallet having to just settle in behind, but that connection is really starting to interfere with this race here. It's very hard to go wheel to wheel with a driver that is pinging in and out of visibility, but I'm going to have to try my best because I need to get past Gallet here if I'm going to challenge for more positions into the top 10 in the second half of this race. We're following them once again then towards 130R, and you can see them flickering in and out of visibility. Once more, I'm just going to have a little look to the inside, trying to put Gallet off really as much as anything, but once again they're able to hold their nerve through the corner, drifting very wide through the exit. I'm hopefully going to be able to close in here as we get through the chicane. I pick up another incident point there for track limits. They're super strict at Suzuka, and I'm really racking them up now as we get towards the final part of this race. Am I going to be close enough then as we cross the start finish line into another lap here to get anything done into T1? It's one of a few good overtaking spots on this lap. Well, let's see as we get hard on the brakes, and it looks as if Gallet's carried too much speed in. He's right on the brakes, right the way onto the outside curb there, and I'm just able then to thread my McLaren through the gap on the inside. Gallet looks to have a little nibble as we enter the S's, but I've gotten the overtake done. Let's take another look at it here then on replay, and you can see just the space opening up there on the inside, and I'm just able to get through cleanly, and that is going to be critical for my chances of trying to make up any more positions in this race as we get forward onto lap 6. And I'm following Doutenberg up ahead, who is just run wide climbing the hill, and that is going to cost him time all the way towards the Degners here. That has given me an opportunity to get back in contact after that battle with Gallet on the previous laps. Here we go then through Degner 2. Both of us pushing the limits there, once again picking up another incident point. I'm really getting a big hit on my safety rating here through this race so far, and I haven't really made contact with any other driver. It's all track limits, as again Doutenberg wide on the exit but carrying good speed in the end through the hairpin there. I'm not going to be close enough to do anything into Spoon. In fact, already in the cockpit, I'm really thinking about, can I just maintain the distance here and try and do something at the beginning of the next lap? That's probably going to be my best chance. Of course, I could get side by side potentially into the chicane if Doutenberg makes a mistake through 130R, but realistically, I think it's going to be about bridging that gap between now and the beginning of the next lap. And that's going to probably be the final lap of this race. So I've not got many more chances to get one more position gained in this race. Let's see what we can do as Doutenberg very wide through 130. Oh, that is going to allow me to close in as we get towards the chicane, but not enough to make a move. Just having to clear some of the debris that's been kicked up there off my windscreen. Here we go then, onto the final lap of this race. Unfortunately, I'm not as close as I would like to be to try and get side by side into T1, but as we've seen previously with galore, I was able to come from quite far back. Given galore made a mistake, maybe Doutenberg will do the same. We've seen him do it earlier in the race. Let's see if we can close in then through T1, through T2, and we have made up some ground, but not enough to properly challenge there. Maybe we'll be able to find some space through the S's here. Let's try and push as much as we can and see if we can't press Doutenberg into a mistake in the final lap of this race. We're coming through then to the slowest part of the S's. He is slightly wide, he's off the apex there. Maybe that will give me a chance as we climb the hill. Maybe he'll run wide once again, but actually it looks like we're both just about able to keep the car on the grey stuff. And now as we head towards the Degners, that gap has opened up just slightly. I'm not sure, whether we're going to get a final chance to get that position as we get through the middle sector of the lap. Both of us neat and tidy through the Degners there, and unfortunately I just wasn't able to claw in any more significant ground. I do pick up a final incident point for good measure there through the chicane, but you'll see I'm just going to have to settle to come home in P7 in this session. A very, very enjoyable race there, full of action, full of good battling as well though. So as much as you've got to be on your toes in these GT4 fixed series races, there is good racing to be had if you're able to find competitors out on track like Doutenberg and others in that race, where you can get a really good, fun, clean race going. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed for more, and actually check out the description to this video for a link to a fantastic GT3 race that I ran last week.